friends. This is the program Empire of Lies, where we discuss manipulation and disinformation in the Russian media. It's time. Let's strike. Why Kremlin TV is turning the threat of a nuclear strike into a political agenda. In a recent broadcast, Vladimir Solovyov uttered a simple phrase that would be impossible in normal politics. It's time. Let's strike. The occasion was a demonstration of the Burevestnik and Poseidon, a Russian nuclear-powered cruise missile, and an underwater drone known as a supertorpedo. All around were approving remarks, mockery of the degenerate West, assurances that American and European experts are out of touch, and outright threats. If the French send soldiers, we'll kill them all. In the resounding echo of these statements, one can hear more than just television bravado. A coherent political picture is being stitched together, in which nuclear rhetoric is not a dramatic figure of speech, but a central tool of internal mobilization. 1. Normalization of the unthinkable. The key technique is to present a nuclear strike as a rational option, not a civilizational taboo. Consult and strike, a terrible weapon, but we can use it if necessary. This shifts the discussion from the realm of morality to the realm of technical choice. In this logic, the demonstration of the Poseidon and the deployment of the carrier submarine, Khabarovsk, are not a cause for alarm, but an aesthetic gesture. Firstly, it's beautiful, and proof that we have everything ready. The effect is obvious. The audience is convinced that the threshold for the use of nuclear weapons is a matter of political will, not a red line. This is the normalization of the unthinkable. 2. A besieged fortress worldview. The next layer is the explanatory model. The West has degraded, doesn't understand reality, and lives in fantasy about 3 days to Kiev and a march on Warsaw. Russia, however, according to the broadcast, is acting with utmost sobriety. It has no intention of conquering 500 million Europeans and imposing values on them, but is prepared to respond harshly and asymmetrically to any threat. 2 connections emerge from this scheme. The West is incompetent and hypocritical, meaning it must be deterred through fear, not through the search for love. We don't need your love, we need your fear. Russia is the only adult in the room with real means of deterrence and the will to use them. This is how the public legitimization of escalation as deterrence is constructed. The more menacing Moscow sounds, the more peaceful it supposedly is in the end. They say we're weak, that it's no use talking to us. Why are you so nervous then? Why all these exercises in the Suwalki Gap? Because Germany is a dead end. Who are you going to fight? You'll all just die. That'll be the end of it. When the peacekeepers in our country stop saying, no, 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 what are you saying? Don't do it. And they start acting according to the regulations and rules of how to fight NATO countries. And that's when the nuclear weapons start flying. And the leader of Belarus said, we'll go for it. Terrible weapons. If we need them, we'll sit down with Putin, consult and go for it. And you have to understand that. We really can go for it. Oh, and of course, first of all, it's beautiful. We showed that Poseidon exists. And then we showed how it's actually launched. 3. Dehumanization of the enemy and a break with Europe. For fear to work, the enemy must be dehumanized. The broadcasts are filled with insults directed at the Ukrainian leadership, homophobic language, and contempt for European values. These aren't random outbursts of rudeness. This is the media's way of reinforcing the idea that there's no point in talking to people like them, and that they can only be coerced. The political rationale is simple: to deprive the EU of a moral voice in any future future peace talk. If their values are empty, then any appeals by Europe to law, norms, and the human cost of war are discredited in advance. 4. Stitching war and the economy, the victory plan as state mobilization. The key news of the broadcast is the shift from frontline topics to macroeconomics. The thesis is voiced about the need for a victory plan, not only on the battlefield, but also in the economy, so that our economy doesn't give anyone a chance to swing a club. The central bank is criticized for forecasts instead of a program, and monetary policy is criticized for a lack of coordination with the government. This isn't a debate about interest rates. This is a bid for a long-term mobilization model, when the focus on intimidation externally is accompanied by a justification for manual control internally. Nuclear rhetoric becomes an ideological glue, explaining to society why tolerating expensive loans, inflation, and budgetary priorities for the war is not a disaster, but a contribution to a great victory. 5. Poseidon and Burevestnik as political symbols. Technical details fade into the background. The symbolic meaning is more important. Poseidon and Burevestnik are presented as equalizers. Their presence supposedly renders pointless any discussion of the long range of Western weapons and any attempts to project force against Russia. The public demonstration of the carrier in Khabarovsk plays the role of a theatrical curtain. We showed it, now you know. Think, analyze, draw conclusions, and don't be fooled. This was the program Empire of Lies.